for final top coat.
Okay.
Do you know, are those retention ponds, what are they sized for a 100-year storm? Because we've had 2 in the last 3 weeks, and 1 last
I'm
summer.
not sure anybody's.
Just so you realize that.
We do.
It's full now. It's, I mean, it's, there's water all over up there right now.
And it all runs through my property to the north. Just a sidebar.
No, it would, it would make sense to revisit that before
Yeah.
make anything more from it.
Because if it runs to the north, there's still plenty of land to the north of that pond to make it larger,
Exactly,
if need be.
exactly.
We'll build a second one.
It'd be better to do it now.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming in to update us.
Do you have any other questions or
We appreciate it.
concerns?
I do have some concerns.
Okay.
The way this particular project went, if it's a roadmap for how the future ones go, I have a major concern. I'd just like to review this real quick. In December of 2013, that's when Dom signed his agreement.
13.
Yeah.
And it was in spring of 2014 that you said as soon as the weather breaks, that road would be started.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was delay after delay there, as I'm glad that you mentioned that. Then it was told that road would start in August of 2014. Another letter, construction to begin in fall of 2014. And then a very interesting letter that I had to read about in the newspaper that said that it would be completed by late spring 2015. And this one had made mention that we were waiting for a public announcement by Schumer, Gillibrand, and Collins. And then later it was mentioned that that was not the case. Then it goes on to another letter that was sent that said in 5/31/2015 it would be complete. We sent a letter on a related issue to your office, and we didn't get a response. It would have been nice if we had got a response to that letter that had to do with an additional 5 acres that Don wanted to buy. And it would have been nice to just give us a response, just let us know how you feel about that, or open a dialogue with us. That's what we were hoping for. Something concerned me the most was a comment I read in the paper that you mentioned we were going to take back Dom's land if he were to withdraw his money. Is that something that you would do? You would initiate some kind of protocol to take back his land?
That's not something that we want to pursue. I've been advised by counsel that if the money that's in the escrow account is removed, that there certainly is recourse for that. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not here to debate legal issues.
Okay.
I don't believe that the way that this road construction project has occurred is exemplary of the way that we operate in our office. We have had considerable delay in using this particular funding source. We did not know that when we applied for the funding and were awarded, that they were going to manage every single aspect of the project. When we've used other funding sources, state sources, even local funds, we're able to move forward with these projects quite rapidly, and most all of the projects that we work on, we finish ahead of schedule. So to me, this is very disturbing that we can't get it done in the time frame that we hoped that we would have.
So you didn't have experience with that type of funding?
Not with this
before?
particular funding source, no. And actually, we've relied very heavily on Senator Schumer's office to help us move this project forward because EDA is not extremely responsive.
So you are working with his office then
Absolutely.
to try to get them to move this along?
Absolutely, we are.
There's another you made that comment a second time. My concern about that is that sounds pretty harsh to threaten to take back somebody's land. And I'm just wondering if, I mean, the way this whole thing went, again, if other businesses come into that park and they're going to experience this kind of thing, it's going to detract from additional businesses who want to come to this town. They're going to read about this and they're going to say, I don't want any part of this. And I just want to know, what kind of metrics are you going to put in place to change that?
I think that things that you're reading in the paper are not exactly correct, or any other media source. I think that having a conversation with me, with the agency, is the best way to do things. I think that there were a lot of questions asked of the agency and of me, that were questions that probably should not have been asked or answered, to be perfectly honest. As far as the road construction and new business going in, we have purchase offers on additional property out there. We have significant interest in that park, and we're trying to move forward to the best of our ability with the constraints that we have.
Are you aware that there's other business owners in that park that have concerns about working with the IDA as well? Are you aware of
We
that?
have talked to all of the other business owners in that park. We have sent them information on the road construction. They've thanked us for the communication, for the clear and concise information that we've provided to them.
Well, a conversation I had just today with a person, a constituent in that park, is not pleased at all with the way some of his things are going.
Well, then I need to know about that, and that person needs to contact me. I'm not aware of that.
Well, that's what I'd like to know, is that, what kind of metrics are you gonna put in place to, do you have, what are the principles that the IDA abides by? Continued service after the sale, do you interact with these businesses
Absolutely.
afterwards?
Absolutely. And we have an ongoing business retention and expansion program. We visit with the businesses in the county on a regular and ongoing basis.
That's not what I heard today from this one constituent, so
Okay.
I
Well, then
really-
I would ask you to, have that constituent contact us.
Yeah. Can you be proactive maybe and go and meet with them and see how they're doing? I mean,
Yeah, we do. We do, as part
because
of our.
from what I understand, sometimes you've been requested to come to the businesses to look at various things, and you won't come over, you don't come up there. These are the things I'm hearing
Well,
that are of
that's,
great concern to me. And
again, we need to have businesses contact us directly, not work through, and I don't mean any disrespect, any third person. Direct contact, pick up the phone, call.
well, that would be nice. I would have enjoyed going to that meeting that you had a couple of weeks ago. But from what I understand, you only sent the notice to the town through US mail. And by the time it got here to this office, there was no time for any of us to attend your meeting. Is it typical for the IDA to just use US mail to invite people to a meeting?
Generally, yes, that's the way that we conduct it.
You send emails to others about meetings. How about an email or a
formal-
call to Jennifer here?
A
I
formal meeting
would have
with
liked
that.
to have been there at that meeting and learn of these things. I don't like seeing these things in the newspaper, in print, and we've made efforts to be in contact with you. We've made efforts to bend our rules for you. We approved 3 lots for you without the road being there. We don't do that for anybody. We have bent our rules and jumped through hoops to move things along for this shovel-ready project. And I'm really disturbed by the delays that I see here, and the lack of communication and the lack of respect that you're giving to business owners who are trying to improve and grow their businesses in this town.
The letters were sent by US mail. Yes, that is correct. That's not uncommon.
Are you gonna continue to do things that way? Is that, the next time you have a meeting, are you going to use US mail only to invite us?
Well, hearing now that there were some issues, we will probably send emails as well as regular mail, but we don't also have email addresses for everyone.
I'm sure you have Jennifer's email. I'm
I-
sure
I
you have
do.
her phone number. She will coordinate and get us here.
I think our concerns have been made.
I will tell you that the letter that the board sent was presented at the IDA board meeting. They did review it, so it's not that it was not seen.
We would just like to
They
hear whether it's,
reviewed
if you don't like it, you do like it. I mean, engage in a dialogue. But we sent a letter to you because we want to engage you in a dialogue. We want to work with you. We want to move things along. We've got great momentum going in our town here. We've got great possibility. When I see these things delayed in this business environment where companies are leaving the state in droves, we want to keep them here. Avon's a great place. We want to
Me
keep
too.
things moving.
We do
So
too.
we really, really need your office's help.
I think we bear our concerns.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I hate to interrupt because I'm not part of this meeting, I'm certainly here just an observer.
Dom, this is, not a hearing.
Okay.
I'm not gonna take anything from the.
Mr. McGovern, can I address just one?
Sure, well, because you're,
Yeah, I would certainly invite, any planning board or business member to any meeting, first Friday of every month we have a meeting, and you'll hear exactly that. The visits that were made to businesses, not because they called, but because we have a business retention plan. We have an update every Friday. If you look at any of the minutes, you can, but I'd invite you to come. We have one this Friday, I know it's short notice, but any first Friday of the month, we're at the government center, and I would love to have people come, engage in that. Those are open meetings. We do have a business retention plan and update every month, and we do visit businesses, not because they call and ask us, because we wanna see what their needs are. So certainly, I appreciate those comments, but know that we are doing some of that. I don't know the details, and certainly this is not the place to get those details, but I hope that business owner is comfortable enough to call the IDA office and have a conversation with Julie about the concerns, because these are the first concerns we've heard. And I don't know who that can be, but it's not important tonight. But it is important that they reach out to the office, because that's what we're here for.
okay, that would be great.
I really appreciate it, though. I appreciate
There
the
are
comments.
concerns, the good news, we're gonna get a road in 60 days, and, these things happen, you know, the federal funding and everything, but Mayor, planning board is our responsibility, site plan and subdivision, and beyond that, it's a town board issue with the IDA, but we certainly have aired some of the concerns, and I think a lesson to be learned, if you go back 10 years, if the town was ever going to develop another park like that, have all the roads put in up front, put all the infrastructure up. Well, I understand it's expensive,
You can't be selling.
it's expensive, but you go to other parts of the country,
They're done that way.
you go to other parts of the country, you go down south, and there's literally, you can see these parks, sewer, lights, roads, infrastructure are there. Now, granted, they're not in the cold weather, and they might sit there for 2 or 3 years until they get built out. But in a perfect world, and we're not always in a perfect world, but one lesson to be learned is if we had to do that all over again, I would love to see the roads put in before any, but here, the way we did it was as the businesses come, then we'll build the roads out, so. That's my own,
Yeah,
I agree.
personal interjection.
we had 3 parks in the county, and none of them were done that way. 20 years ago, when the county went into the industrial park business, I have a lot of appreciation for the boards back then, the county administrator, but it just didn't happen. There was no money spent on them. We bought them thinking, if somebody comes to us,
Right.
we'll build,
And it has to
and
do
it's
with-
been piecemealed, and that
Well,
certainly is not
economy
proven.
has to do with like
Sure.
the economy, and we got hit in 07 through 2010 with like recession and everything, and like I said, in a perfect world, that's how it works,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
unfortunately, we're not in a perfect
Sure,
world.
absolutely.
But if hindsight were 2020, I would love to build it out like that. Well, it depends where the park's at, you know, and what type of funding is available. That's my own
But
personal.
just to restate one thing that was said earlier, we kind of do have a 2020 hindsight moment here with the pond and the drainage. And I think it would make a lot of sense to take a look at that, especially in the state it's in right now, before moving ahead with things.
Well, I think you have our word, Julie's word, that we will be in touch with our engineer tomorrow. We'll get him out here tomorrow or the very next day, and so he can look at the situation the way it is now and give us an opinion. I think that's all we can do. But you have our word, we'll do that.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a great night, yes, sir, thank
Thanks for
you.
having us this evening. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
David.
That's it.
Leave these chairs right here.
Sure. Good. Okay. Thanks a lot. Okay. Avon Tech Center Associates, final site plan review for East Avon Plaza. Board of Appeals. They got nothing. Well, at 5 o'clock, we got it.
Oh, no, I had this stuff. I'm just really in stuff. What exactly would you like, because it's about 10 pages long, is there a particular part you're looking for?
No, but that's the minutes or the actual,
This
all the
is,
conditions.
this is what was literally read at their meeting. The findings of fact, there was an entire background summary, there's their findings, which is
Is the
several
planning
more.
board interested in this? It's quite a lengthy document. This is the zoning board of appeals approved the special use permit and a height variance for this proposal. And this document is basically all that. It's a lengthy document.
How long is the conditions section of it?
The conditions,
4 pages.
background summary, findings for the special use permit, findings for the special use permit under 135. The actual conditions of, do I read this correctly? Let me just read that part of the little part before. Based upon the foregoing adopted findings of the Town of Avon zoning board of appeals, I make a motion to approve the special use permit request of applicant pursuant to sections 130-16C and 130-35 of the Avon Town Code, subject to the following conditions. All aspects of the manufacturing processes as specified per site plan dated March 30th, 2015 are to be contained within the current structure and building. There shall be no future expansion of any kind to the current structure/building footprint or land area occupied by applicant. Any expansion of the building footprint or expansion of applicant's process onto additional property shall require applicant to seek modification of the special use permit granted and any site plan approval granted by the planning board. Storage of finished product only in a properly maintained safe outdoor display area shall be permitted. No storage of any other kind is permitted outside the structure/building. Materials required for the manufacturing process are to be trucked in from certified transfer stations during the hours of 7:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., Monday through Friday only. There shall be no overnight parking of any trucks on the property. A maximum of 15 incoming and or outgoing truck deliveries per day is allowed, and the granting of this special use permit with the above conditions is approval upon applicant receiving site plan approval from the Town of Avon Planning Board. They also got the height variance, 10-foot variance, which puts them at a 45-foot height, which was 10 over the allowed height. And it's like that.
No, great, thank you. Any questions? Has anything changed in your site plan? since
For the love of God, say no. Thank you.
I ran out of ink.
And
You can sit next to the crowd. Yeah, that would not have been fun.
I just, before there's a motion for approval, I don't know if we want to keep this in the motion or just put in the minutes that they've met the C-Court requirements.
Oh, trust me, that is very, very, stated very lengthily in their findings.
In their findings.
They went through the entire history from the
Correct,
application
from the
all the way
beginning.
through every
Well, I
part
just
of
want to
it.
make the planning board
Yeah.
aware of the applicant has met the C-Court requirements, and the DEC has documented that. Is there a motion for site plan approval for, go ahead, before I,
I was gonna say, could I, the more
Yes,
this as I go,
C-Court.
could I have a motion to approve the site plan for the Avon Tech Center
I was gonna
Associates
say all that.
LLC dated